You know that moment when you think you have another hour to prepare and you realize, oh no, in 5 minutes the show is live. Yeah, I'm just living one of those moments. I hope everyone is well. How are you doing today? I can see Dean, and oh, I'm trying to pronounce the other name in the comments. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I hope everyone is doing well. Please let me know if you can hear me and if everything is working fine. I've got my feedback monitors over here. I've got all the other stuff over here. And let's see. A bit of feedback. I want to check the lag. How many seconds does it take from me actually saying something to coming to you? Plus, I assume that's all good. Excellent. Excellent. Good. So, let's see what we have here. We have, I guess, a couple of questions from the form. And one of them was, is there a way to influence a vertex map weight based on a particle speed in a simulation? And as a matter of fact, I did a quick tip based on that request. So the quick tip should be available as of a couple of minutes ago. If you go to the Master Training YouTube channel, Master Training Team YouTube channel, you will see the new quick tip, which shows exactly that, how you can take the speed and normalize it and stuff like that. So put a pin in that. So after the show, you can go and watch it. That question was from, let me first see if I'm allowed to call out the name. Igor Rose from the United States. At least that's the thing. Okay. Now, there was a question from Sam Matson, again from the United States, and was asking something about substance materials. So if you load substance materials and you move folders around, then relinking the substance materials causes all sorts of broken links and so forth. So I went down, I did some research on that, and apparently what happens is under very specific circumstances, when you do something, for example, safe project with assets, when you contain substances, and then you take the Cinema 4D file, move it somewhere else and open it, even when you recover its position, put it back where it was, the substances are broken. And that is now officially taken care of by the developers. And I really want to thank everyone that asks the questions, because you are helping unearth a lot of very edge cases, but that probably affect quite a few users out there. So make sure you let us know about these things. I don't have a workaround for that, but at least the problem is being taken care of. Okay. So let me look at the chats here. We have let me bring up some of these nice little chats and say hi and all that. So let's go here. Dean brought his brain. I'm actually going to respond to Dean, because one of the reasons I was late, because Dean sent me down a rabbit hole again. Can you believe that? But I have some good news about that in inverse perspective. I'm going to leave it for now. We're going to do it a bit later. Okay. And there we go. Hello. How do we pronounce this? Gvoz. I don't want to say it because maybe it's some sort of cheeky thing. Technology driven. Hello. Hello, friends. What else do we have here? There you go. Greenville. Sharon, no, you're not late. You're late for the pleasantries, but we have a lot of time for that. What is the topic today? That's actually a very good question. So there are a couple of there's one question from Dean Mellis. Apologize for reverse perspective, and I think what I'm going to do is do some live hard surface unwrapping or soft organic unwrapping and so forth, just to go through the process again. And if you have any questions, I'm going to look at the chats. Um, TV land. Okay, we do have some questions, and please don't forget, if you have a question, do add capitalized question at the beginning so I can distinguish it. It's hard. Comments are coming in left, right, and center. So what I'm going to do is mark the questions. Da, 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 da. I'm starring them. Yeah. You had a feeling inverse perspective was going to be a rabbit hole. Actually, I'm gonna get to it right now. Okay. Oh, there you go, Constantine. Fantastic. The Byzantine name, the first Byzantine, official Byzantine emperor, I would say, according to some. Okay, so let me share my screen here, and I think I can do this by doing that. There's my little face there. Yeah, I'm gonna remove my face for now. Okay, so here's the question. I have, stop that. There we go. So let me turn off the sound here. And there's these videos that Dean gave me. And basically it's amazing. This is the front of a train. I totally lost my mind because I was looking at it inside out. And you can see that this is what we call inverse perspective, where anything towards the back, where it's supposed to be smaller, it's actually bigger. And this is, I mean, I thought it was an inside out train, but that's an easy thing. It's better. Look at that. And algorithmically, maybe there's a way to do something with a special plugin and a camera and whatnot. But what I realized is actually there's a low hanging fruit way of doing it. It's a bit fiddly. You need to experiment, but I'm going to give you an idea of what you can do. What I'm going to begin with is let's get just a bunch of cubes here, just so that we have something to work with. And I'm just going to go here and extend this and make them a bit. Oh, actually, make them bigger. There you go. So we have the normal perspective. I'm going to add a camera and view through it. What I'm going to try and do, which I'm actually going to do, um, what I'm going to try and do is utilize the camera distortion here. So there's this distortion where you can put an image, and if you go to the help, it will give you some examples. So we go help, and basically, if you start here, this is a similar to, yeah, it's a UV coordinate grid with red and green for U and V. And the 0 is the bottom left. 1 second, please. Sorry. Sorry about that. Clearing my throat a bit. So you're going to have from 0 to 100% red and from 0 to 100% green. And that should be the normalized thing. Now, I did the rabbit hole portion was, first of all, Photoshop. I cannot, for the life of me, understand how Photoshop, if I want to work in a linear, non-color managed, a raw colorway, I don't care about sRGB and all that. I want a data. I cannot find a way to do that. Yeah, it's probably my lack of knowledge. I cannot. I spent 2 hours on that trying to figure it out. Anyway, so I did something else. So what did I do? Well, you go and you create a, a material and a plane. So let me show you how how I did this. And actually, what I can do is go and create it from scratch so you get a better idea what's going on here. I'm going to create a material which I'm going to apply to a plane. When you have a plane, you want it to be not on the plus Z, on the minus Z to have the proper UV coordinates. So you want the plane to be facing towards U, right? Towards the minus Z, because the plus Z is this way. So now, if I make this editable, the normals are facing me. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is create a material. And this material is not going to have any oh, what's that called? Not shading. Anyway, any surface parameters. It's just going to be plain color. I'm going to turn on this, and I'm going to use a ramp. So I'm going to take a ramp, and I'm going to make it horizontal. And if you do remember, I recall it's red from left to left to right. So you go here, and you say from black to red. And in order to pick the correct data color, you have to switch this to raw and then go and use the raw 255 value of red to make it as such. Number one. Number two, you have to right click here and do a interpolation linear. Look how it's going to change. Boop. There you go. That's a linear black and white gradient. Fantastic. And just connect it here, right? So, and we get this. Now, the other thing is that you need to make sure in your preferences that the view transform is set to raw. Because I'm going to use this file only for data. So let's go to the material, and this is the red, which is the U, and this is going to be the green, which is the V. And I need to combine these. First of all, let me go and do a vertical and make this here green. Again, it's going to be the not sRGB, but the raw version of green. When you close this and you open it again, and I guess if I do this and if I go here, you'll see that, oh, it is correct. Anyway, I don't know why it showed the invalid colors earlier. And now I'm going to do a layer. I'm going to layer these two colors. And the way you layer RGB in order to create the image you want, you have to set the blend mode to add. So the mathematical add, and we're going to put this here and this here, and we're going to feed this out here. And we get exactly that, that thing, all right? The thing. Now, I need to view this head on. So I'm going to make a camera. I'm going to make sure this camera, now if you want to make it, proper, select this and press shift and create a camera that's orthogonal to your plane. And what I'm going to do with the camera, just to make sure that everything aligns, I need to make sure that this aligns to this, because I want to be able to see the plane correctly. And I want to render this square. So go and say 1280 by 1280. And the easiest way is I'm going to turn the redshift camera to have a 90-degree field of view, which makes this 90 degrees. And because of that, what you can do, you can move it half the distance of the plane. So the plane being the diagonal of this imaginary square, okay, because this is 90 degrees, because the camera has a 90-degree field of view. And this is here is 400. Therefore, this from here to here is 200, because it's half of that. So if I move my camera minus 200 and 0, 0, 0, 0, minus 200, it should be exactly framing this. And when I render this, it's going to give me the full render that has this thingamadoodle. And I'm going to go and save this as an EXR. Yeah, whatever. And that is this, right? So I put an extra null there. Let's put 0 here and put a 0 here, right? So this is the render I'm getting here. And if I render this out, so I'm going to render it. I'm going to call this, I'm going to call it 01. So you can see things happening live. So I'm going to render this 01. Right, come on, render. Click on the button. Good. Good boy. Render. There you go. This is my image, and it's been saved. When I go to this camera, I'm going to do it here. You go to the Redshift camera. I'm going to turn this on, and you can see this is my render. If you go to the Redshift camera, and you go to optical and you load this image, so 1 EXR, and I'm going to refresh. You're going to see a very small shift. See that little shift? That is, I don't even know what that is. It shouldn't happen, but it is what it is. I'm going to make a copy of this camera. I'm going to remove the distortion so you can see the difference. So distorted, a pixel to the left, non-distorted, a pixel to the right. Okay, which forget about it. But watch what I'm going to do now. I'm going to figure out a way to distort this image. And the easiest way I found, just for the fun of it, is just rotate this plane, right? I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to rotate it, let's say 45 degrees that way, right? Minus 45. And I'm going to save this. It doesn't want to save. It doesn't matter. Let me see something. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I need to pause syncing until tomorrow. Okay. I'm just making sure my Dropbox syncs and all that. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm going to go and make this O2. And remember, this has a 45-degree rotation. Now, I don't have color everywhere. It doesn't really matter. I want you just to see the effect, okay? So let's go and render this. And it's going to render this distorted image. There you go. Let's see what happens when we use the distorted image in the camera now. So let's go optical. Let's go to the camera that has the distortion. Let's load O2. Nah, watch this. Look at that. So there is a direct correlation with the effect you're trying to do and how the gradient is created and how it applies, how it maps to the camera. And it makes it extremely interesting in the sense that you can play around with the alignment of this plane. So let's try some fancy things. I've got a null because I just want to rotate it 45 degrees this way. I don't even know if that's going to make a huge difference. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to take this and sort of move it. And I'm going to move it that way and move it this way. Oh, that's the size of the sensor. Sorry. I want to shift it. That's what I wanted to do. I'm going to shift it around. There we go. So we get a full screen of partial this. I don't even know what this is going to do, right? So now it's me experimenting after getting the rabbit hole. There we go. So let's go and render this. And I'm going to render it with the same name. It doesn't matter. So it's overwriting the previous one. I have no idea what's going to happen now. This is uncharted territory for me. And just go to the camera. I assume it loaded the new one. There it is. And just activate this. Start it. Yeah, it's getting weird. So let's see how this works with a car. So this is the normal car, and this is how it looks with the normal camera. And this is how it looks with the other camera. And all this is just to, yeah, it's exceeding where the plane is. So I guess you can put more of that gradient underneath. You can do all sorts of fancy things. Yeah, I can. I'm going to respond to that. So look at that. So effectively, we can distort the camera world and create these kind of effects. How exactly you need to distort it in order to get the particular effects that were achieved by that particular user, I will leave that to you. Oh, wait a minute. Don, I hate it. Dean, why are you doing this to me? Don't do this to me. Oh, rats. All right. This is all Dean's fault. Okay, everyone? Remember that. All Dean's fault. I will neither confirm or deny that I enjoy this, really. Moves camera without moving coordinates. It doesn't move the camera. It distorts the camera, you need to think of it of distorting the camera's um, uh, sensor. Imagine if you get a camera sensor and you sort of twist it around. That's how you can get tilt shift effects and stuff like that. So whenever we are distorting a camera in 3D, what we're doing is changing. Let me see if I can bring my face up for a second and hope I don't forget. So imagine this is the camera sensor. So we have the lens and all that, the camera sensor. Changing that gradient is like tilting it this way with the red, that way, or bowing it. So imagine if you get the sensor and you can make it round, you can make it oblique, you can make it concave, convex, you can make it faceted and all that. You can do a lot of fancy things. All right, let me put this back here because now it's rabbit hole time. I'm going to go and create a disk at -Z. Put this here now, turn everything else off. And what I'm going to do, because why not? Instead of having a horizontal mapping, I'm going to have a radial mapping. Like, why not? Or a circular mapping even more. Okay, so this has a circular mapping for one dimension and a linear for the other. I mean, what's the worst that can happen, right? 200. I think we're pretty much square. Just add a few more of these. And let's render this because why not? I'm going to render it 3. This is going to create a very weird distortion, by the way. Maybe it's going to look like a fish eye lens or something like that, but hey, who cares? As long as it's fun. Um, and if you do make anything really funky and crazy using that, please share, right? Don't keep these things to yourselves, right? Publicize them. And let's go to our distortion camera and let's go and load 3. So there it is. And let's turn this on. Ha! So yeah, it's funny. So it's keeping. Oh, this is. Look at that. Oh my God! You can do all sorts of things. I'm just rotating the camera now. Now I'm moving it. I'm rotating the cam. No way. Okay, I want to see. See, this is. You can have too much fun doing these things, right? So anyway, that's just 2 gradients. Yeah, it is. It is cool. So wow, that's crazy. And you can actually do your proper renders, everything, and have a bunch of these weird distortion thingy-madoodles. I don't know if you can replicate this. The good thing with this is you don't lose resolution, do you? Don't you? Let me check and see if 100% resolution is going to give you the full shebang here. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, so if you do it in post, you are going to get some. You have to render with a high resolution so you don't lose when things are getting bigger. But here it will preserve the resolution. That is so interesting. Yeah, invert red and green. Let's do that. Sorry for anyone that came to see anything a bit more interesting. I'm not going to apologize. This is too funny. So let's go with a radial and let's take this and invert it. So I'm going to go right click here and invert this gradient. Hey, why not? And you know something? Let's double it up. Oh, I shouldn't be doing this. This is what happens and people don't work. But, for me, this is work though, because that's how I learn. And that's how you ought to learn. All right. Good. So let's go here and load it. And once I load it, I'm going to close the rabbit hole and move on to other rabbit holes. So let's render. Okay, this is a bit. Oh, that's the multiple gradient I did. Okay, that's why it's losing. There you go, because it compresses the image because it changes. Okay, now I sort of get it. Okay. Okay. So if you compress the right, let's think if we can rationalize this a bit, right? The last bit of the rabbit hole, I do promise. So we have the red gradient, that is the camera. So this is what the camera sees, okay? This is what the camera sees. And when you do the normalized, the undistorted gradient, you get the red gradient from black, from zero, value zero, which is black, to red one. And then, and then, and then you get the green one from zero, I'm going to put it here, to one. Okay, to one. This means that if I make my gradient go from 0 to 1 here, and this, let's say the rest of it is black, it's going to take my cube and compress it. So it's going to get this image, what the image you see here, and it's going to compress it over here. So it's going to make a shorter, compressed version of the cube. All right, so that's apparently how it works, which means that if I want in the, so this is V and the red is U. So if I want my cube, instead of doing a perspective like this, which is, it's doing it now, you know, it's going like that. If you want it to extend, what you need to do is you need to, so you need to grow this. That means you need to grow the red slower and the green slower from the center upwards or something like that. I don't even know what I'm talking about. This is so trippy. Anyway, so Dean, I hope you're happy with your answer. And now I ask you to go and hit some rabbit holes and see what happens. Okay. Let me see some questions here. Oh, can we use an image sequence? All right, this is a good one. We'll find out. I don't know. I haven't used this, but we'll find out. It says animation. I mean, why not? Yeah, each frame can have a different. I hope it works. Then, all right, Dean, I've got you homework. So here it is, animation. So, Dean, here's your homework. Exactly. You will make some rabbits. Perfect. Just if anyone wants, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to revert this to saved, zero out the rotations. Good. I'm going to save this. I'm going to place this in the appropriate downloads with all the settings, just so that it has all the settings and you don't get confused. Don't forget, I went to the project settings and I did the view transform raw. You need to make sure that you're rendering this in a format that, sorry, supports 32-bit. It can be TIFF, it can be anything. And that way, when you do that, you can guarantee that the transform is not going to be baked in, right? So make sure you render that and you use this image and play around. It's a very simple image. The colors, again, don't forget, you select them. And when you click here, you need to make sure. See, here, it gives us illegal RGB as far as sRGB is concerned. When you go to RAW and you select 100% 255 of red, that value is outside the gamut of sRGB, because RAW is, you can call it infinite, but it's not. If you go to RAW, now it's going to say no more red stuff. Anyway, just to let you know, that would be it. So let me go and check out some of the questions there, because I don't know if you liked it. Comment down below and all that nice stuff. It's still YouTube, so you need to do all the stuff that feeds the algorithm. Yeah. Where are we? The train from St. Petersburg. Yeah. Earlier. No, it was 11 Eastern. Okay. When I start the simulation, pause it and return to first frame, the object disappears. What object? What frame? That is something. If you have a scene and all that, maybe you can get in touch on Twitter at NosemanGR, or use the forum or something like that, or just report it directly to customer support. If you feel that something is not working as you would expect it to, please, please, please. Oh, there's a label, the hat label. Report it to customer support. It's the easiest way for things um, to go where they need to go. Ba, 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 ba. Question: how do I create a dynamic secondary motion rig for an attached object? I don't know exactly what you mean, a secondary motion rig for an attached object, how you are attaching it and all that. If you can clarify this, I could potentially look at it. Let me go up where I've got a couple here. Is there a way to make selections of polygons by the normal direction, manually selecting millions of triangles in a... yeah, asking because I'm always cleaning up heavy CAD files. Yes. Okay. All right. So let me go to my full screen and show you. You're going to use nodes, or I'm not sure if it works 100%. I'm going to go and pick up, let's say, the figure and put it under a connect object, just because I'm just going to make it a mesh object without, I'm going to do without weld. So not this object without weld, and let's make it editable. So let's assume we have this object here with these polygons, and you want to select the ones that face one direction, the other. There's a node called facing, not facing, facing. Select facing, and it can be used as a capsule here. And basically, you can tell it polygons, select all that have a certain tolerance, and then store the selection. Let's say selection, and store it in a selection, right? And if you go here now, this, come on, you ought to work. Not opposite, edges, polygons. Yeah. Why aren't you working? What am I selecting? Plus X, it should be selecting all the polygons that are facing that way. I don't know what happened. Why? Come on. Selection string, all. Yeah. Yeah, this should be working. It's not. What's wrong? What am I doing something wrong? Let me just try something. It ought to work. Make it red. Make this selection. Oh, rats, it's not working. Oh, it is. So it's some sort of it's some sort of refresh issue. But yeah, you can select those, and when you turn this off and double click here, come on. I do not know why it's not applying it. So it's a proxy. All right. Let me think about this. This is utterly irritating here, because it appears to be working as far as selection is concerned. Let me see if we can do a, let's go to a polygon selection, drag. So what I'm going to do here, set this to fields. I know it's a bit of a round trip. Drag this in here and select it using index. So yeah. Oh, but it's all messed up now, because it's selecting. Darn. Nope. Sorry. I need to. Nope. Yeah. Sorry about that. I mean, it should work. I mean, it's working here. I do not know why. Maybe I just need to go and make my own um, store selection after select facing. Yes, something maybe in that regard. I mean, I would expect this to work. What the okay, so let's go store selection and try that. Store selection. It's going to put it in the active selection, hopefully, and store selection polygons. Uh, the selection string, this one, put it in new. I don't know. It's going to do a new. Yeah, it's a link again. That is the problem with this. Count state to object. Well, see, it works now. So once you convert it, right? So once you convert this, you sort of consolidate the geometry. So what I would suggest now is use this to do your selection. And then when you want this selection, if I make a copy of this, I can't make a copy of this. Right click and say count state to object, and the object, the generated object here, will have that selection active, right? So it works. So there is a way to do this. Hopefully it will suffice. Anyway, maybe you need to do your own nodal, total nodal thing where you use the select facing node and it then puts it in another selection or something like that. Anyway, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole right now because there is let's say, a workaround by just right clicking and saying count state object. It's not elegant, but at least it works. Okay. Um, let's see this. Can you please explain if there's an option to control weights in rigging with fields as an option to add fields to bones? In theory, yes. I haven't tried it, to be extremely, totally honest. Maybe we should try it, you know. And if anyone says do not do things live that you haven't practiced, why not? Where's the fun in that? So we're going to use the joint tool, and I'm actually going to go and do a hand here. Look at my precise um, rigging. Wow, I'm so good at this. Okay, so let's see how we can go, and we need to bind these. So select all these, and let's go and bind. So go to character. I'm probably going to mess this up. It doesn't really matter. Okay, whatever. Let's go and see here. And there you go. Now, fields. I'm not even sure there is. All right. Let's get a spherical field here. You need to activate or deactivate something to make it work. I'm not totally sure, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what you need to do. Let's rotate this. Well, directly it's not working, so we definitely need to do something else here. And what can that something else be? So what I usually do in these cases, I see if I can show help, and if it will show me the particular one. No, this is joints, joint fall off. In theory, you can. Kind of shapes defined by fields. Okay. And is there any other way to do this? I'm not going to waste your time with this right now. There is a lot of instruction here as to how you are supposed to do it. So use the bind. Okay. Still need to add a weight tag to it and assign joints to the weights. If you use the bind command, have existing weights, you need to clear them first. So shift double click, clear them. Joints, weights. Let's go to weights and let's select them all and clear them. So select 0, apply all. So I applied all. See if this is going to do anything. Yeah, I have no idea. So you need to look. Well, if you want me to look into this, I'll check it out because I've never done this. I've seen it around. I've never really used it. Probably we need to click on a button or something. But yeah, if anyone knows, um, store selection. Oh no, that's not it. Yeah, in theory you can. I've never tried it. If you really want to, maybe I can do some sort of tutorial on that and so forth. But the help seems to have enough stuff to get you started. Sorry about not moving on with this. Maybe at the end, I need to think about it. Okay. Let's look at the questions. Let's see. 1 second. Okay. The shift parameter in the camera settings, it shifts the sensor. So let me show you what it does. Right, let's do this. Simple file over here, and let's add a camera. And this is the same principle that worked in classical versions of Cinema 4D. So if you go here and you shift it, right, you're not moving the camera. You're doing the equivalent. When you're zooming in, you're not moving the camera because you're not changing parallax, right? And this is one of the things that really, so this cube here and this cube here, okay, they've got different uh, perspectives. What do you think? I mean, this is the question. If I take this cube here and then take this cube here, do they have the same perspective? And the answer is yes. What changes when you change the focal length? It's exactly like doing a two-dimensional scale in Photoshop. It doesn't change parallax. No parallax is the way to see this is that if we place these where the two lines, so look at these two lines, right? The two vertical lines, these two align here, make a copy over here, and these two align here, okay? Just remember that. If you go to the camera and you zoom in, zoom out, that relationship doesn't change. But if you move the camera in and out, look at the parallax. The cube now, the front one is bigger than the ones on the back. The same thing happens with the shift. If I move my camera, look at that. If I move the camera, I'm actually looking behind this cube. I can see this, whereas now I can't see it. And under certain angles, I'm totally obscuring the cube. And I'm just going up and down, right? This is the parallax. With a shift, you don't do that. You're just shifting the camera frustum. Well, it shows the camera frustum when in fact it's the sensor that is moving. The great thing about this is that if you render this, so let's not put any name here. Good. What I'm going to do is render this. There is, and then render this, and then render this. Maybe I should have done it with a bit. Let me do it a bit better. Let me do it a bit better. What I'm going to do here is make a lot of these cubes. So just so that we have more. So look at this. In this particular case, did I select the camera as well? Yeah, I think I made a copy of the camera. Select all, deselect the camera, make a copy of all these. Now you can see that I don't have enough space to take a shot. I want to do some sort of panorama, but I don't want to do a panorama where I'm using the camera to spin around. Okay, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is just shift this so I can view them all. You do get extreme perspectives because you're distorting what's happening. This is how you do tilt shift effects and so forth. And you can now render this portion, 95, then render this portion, and then go and render the rest, and this portion. And those three renders are going to align perfectly if you put them next to each other, perfectly. This is going to be, it appears that it won't, but it will. Take this, then stitch this to its left, and look at these two cubes here. And these are identical. And if you do the overlaps, try it at home, and you will see that you're going to have that continuous thing. But don't forget, there is a lot of distortion the more you move, because look at that, because it's moving parallel. It's very good if you have a scene and you just want to do some extensions for fillers and so forth. Okay. Let's see. What do we have here? Let me just refresh. Let's see. Shift parameter. Yeah, it doesn't move the camera, right? Be very, very, very specific about that. Well, this is actually an interesting one. Yes, it would be lovely if we could actually do our own procedural distortions. Yeah, that I would love, because you could potentially programmatically change some of those weird things. It's actually a nice idea. I'm going to have a chat and see if it's something possible. Okay. Yep, exactly. Very good observation and good idea. Let's see. What else do we have here? It's going down. Bum, bum. Image sequence. Let's see. Yes, go make some rabbits. Yeah, you can do a very trippy stuff, as you can all imagine. Animated noise image sequence to distort reality. Okay. Okay. So let's go further up and see if there's any other missed questions. Nope. Let me look at the form. What time is it? We're 10 minutes close to the top of the hour. Let's see. All right. So the remaining time, I can't see any questions flying in. Please let me know if you would like to see some quick hard surface unwrapping or something. Is that something you would like to see for a few minutes? Let me close all these, including my masterpiece of explanations. Good. Let's see. I want to find. I think I didn't plan this properly, so let me go in here and find something, a hard surface something. Yes, let's see some hard surface modeling. Okay, so wrench, tool, wrench, or something, something like this. I don't even know. Let's grab this. Right, press H, get rid of all the materials, because I don't know what's happened here. What has been done? I do not care what has been done. Main top handle. Press C to make that editable. So generally, you can see that I'm just using this generic model now. Let me take a look at the topology. Yeah, okay, we got certain things. Now, we always need to remember that UVs, doing UV unwrapping is, I've explained it. If you have time one day, if you have a couple of hours, you can go and you can watch a video I did on my own YouTube channel. So you go to YouTube and at Noseman. Is it at Noseman or at Noseman GR? Darn, I forget what it is. Let me. Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? So YouTube / at Noseman. Yay! There he is, Noseman, and it's quite an old one, but it's 2 hours of explaining everything you need to know about UVs. So it's somewhere here. Look for UVs. and it explains what UVs are and various other things. Now, the interface has changed, but still the principles remain. You cannot do whatever you want with UVs. They have to serve a purpose. The simplest purpose you require UVs for is when you do 3D painting. And for that, you just do one of the automatic unwraps. So I'm just selecting everything. I'm going to select all the UV tags as well and go here where it says unwrap. You can do the packed mode and hopefully nothing is going to go extremely bad. There you go. So these are all the different parts of the model. They've been automatically unwrapped. And because there's some sort of guarantee with the automatic unwrapping that there's not going to be any overlapping, you just take this and you paint in 3D. So whether it's body paint, substance paint, or whatever other thing you need, that's what you need to do. Just make sure you have no overlaps and you have a fairly good, um, let's say, occupancy percentage of your tile so you don't lose textile density and so forth. Nothing else is required. But what if you want to have something that has continuity? All right, so let me, this is the main tool. So let me hide everything else. Let's start with the concept that you need some sort of noise or something like that that has continuity across here. Well, if you're going to have continuity and you need it to be seamless and you're not going to use a 3D object, then continuity as a concept becomes more important. Uh, which means that you need to make sure in your UV context that this and this and this and this and all these rows of polygons here. Let's undo a few times. Let's do this again. So this and this and this and this and so forth, they are continuous. That's what you need to guarantee. There's no other way. Now, you will find that in many cases that is actually not possible, especially with watertight models, because yeah, just in the same way that you cannot peel an apple without cutting one of its sides. You can't peel an apple and only have a round, a spherical skin. You have to cut it somewhere to open it and flatten it. And this is a physical limitation, unless you have a balloon that can stretch. So in that case, you lose, you have continuity, but then you have a lot of distortion as well. Anyway, you may not even need UVs if you just need a noise, because you can have noises in global space, and then you can have noises in object space. Everything that has to do with UVs needs to be something you are forced to use the surface for. So for example, I want to put a logo here, and this logo needs to wrap around over here. So I want the logo to be, you know, to go like this, Noseman, okay? And you want it to have very little distortion from a very specific point of view. That means that you need to unwrap these UV. So let's assume that I want this Noseman logo, terms and conditions apply, to be visible like this from this angle, and I want it to be um, embedded in the metal, whatever. That means that you need to take this and do a frontal projection of these polygons, because these are the necessary ones. The logo doesn't lie on anything else. And you go here and you do a view projection, apply. This, what you see here, this needs to remain in this configuration. And when you create your little bitmap, there's going to be Noseman here when you apply it using a UV projection. On these polygons, this is what you're going to see, right? So it's very specific when you're doing these very specific UV unwraps. You need to understand what you need to do in order to get whatever the result is. But what I'm going to do with this now is forget about all that and show you general ways of cutting various similar surfaces and relaxing some edges. And my objective here is more to, let's say, alleviate my OCD in terms of I want to see something that looks like a spanner here. So I don't really care about what is correct or not, as long as it looks cool and people say, oh, look at those nice UVs. So first of all, I'm going to get rid, Shift V to get rid of my safe frames over here. I don't like those. And go to the filter and remove all the other redundant stuff. There we go. So first of all, select everything and do a view projection, just the frontal view. And the only reason you do that is to get rid of all seams and whatnot. There are no seams here. And yeah. Fantastic. Let's start selecting now. For hard surface models, the best way you can select is by using the Phong selection, Phong break selection. And the reason is because you have those hard surfaces, you can tweak this so you can select very specific parts of your model. So I set this to, let's say, 7.2, and you can see um, the model is too small. So Control D to go here, go to Scene, display, and set this to small or tiny so we don't clip. So I've got this whole surface here, which is great. And all I have to do with my polygon selection here, providing this is the part of the selection I want, okay? I can always extend it a bit. Maybe I want to go and grab a few more down here. Let's do that. I'm going to grab a few more of these over here. You can use your normal selection tool, so Shift and do that. And you can see that we're getting some here. So Shift and do that. Selections is a big part of UV editing. So then you go here and you do this or whatever, and then you can fill this. And yeah, there we go. So let's assume this is the part I want, and I want to first detach it. So if you want to detach it manually, you go to your Move tool, press Control, and you can detach it. Otherwise, if you don't press Control, it's going to take the surrounding ones with it. So you can detach it if you press Control. But I don't want to do that. I just want to mark my seams. So right-click here and say Mark a seam, and it will mark the outline of this UV island. That's it. Done. So these seams have been marked here. The next time I'm going to do an automatic unwrap, it's going to, yeah, because I've selected everything and it's still watertight. It won't work if it's watertight. Right? But if I go and select this, the particular island I had, so let me undo a few times to go back to the island here. If I do this, it is going to unwrap this particular part of the model. It's ABF by definition. LCM is better for these kind of unwraps for hard surface, and you're going to get a very accurate unwrap. So let's put that over there. Let's leave this over here and keep doing it. Okay. So let's go and rip out some more parts. See, we have the bottom part as well over here. Let's go and get this one. So you, the other thing you could do, this is weird. You could go and hide the selection. What you need to be careful with, yeah, this is some sort of update bug. You have to be careful with the hidden selections because unfortunately, we uncovered a little bug where if you do certain operations, over here, while polygons are hidden, the polygons are going to be made smaller. So I'm just going to use the hide to isolate the various islands. Okay, so I'm going to go here and use the UL. I'm going to use my loop selection. And what I'm going to do is mark this. And the reason I'm marking that is because I want to go and grab the rest of the model. So what I'm going to do, you can see I can go and find potentially some parts of the model. There you go, which are around what I want to isolate. And I'm going to go all the way back here potentially because I want to select this inner part. And I want to do it in a easy and way that shows me in pretty good light that I know what I'm doing and all that stuff. Showing off is an essential part of having a very healthy mentality in life. There you go. So I think it's good enough. If I get my fill selection now and I go here, you can see I've got this big island here. And do I need to remove anything? No, I'm just going to go with that. Right click and say mark as seams. It's going to mark the seams. Press on this button here and make sure, oops, we are at LSCM, and we're going to fix some of these things. And now we got all this as one island. Now, in the case that you don't want some of these parts, you can always go and deselect them and detach them or put them back where they belong. You can do loop selections here as well. And for example, I can say here, marker seams, or use my control move to detach these. And maybe I want to go and put them back where they were. So you can use your weld. I'm going to go, see, it just finds the other part and it sort of welds it. Oh, it's a hidden part. Yeah, it should ignore that. But anyway, in any case, now I have a different island, this one over here. Now, the reason why this is all bent out of shape is that the polygons, as this turns around, as this scoops around, the interior ones are smaller than these ones, right? That's how you can do this. If you try and bend paper, it will crumble here or tear here. That is how you need to think of this, as a rigid thing. So if you want these to be more, let's say, relaxed, you actually need to cut them up. And although in this particular case, this may not be the best way to do this, it is the recommended way to open up various corners to relax things. So I'm going to work on this island. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide everything that's unselected, go to my edges mode, and right click and do seam selection. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to go here and click and drag, and it automatically creates seams. So then I'm going to go and click and drag here. So I'm detaching this part from this part. So this can relax a bit more. And you can do this across the board. If you press Shift, you create loop selections. And let's see if we can stop at the poles. So you can go, and I'm adding loop selections here. Not loop selections, loops seam. So I'm seaming up these. I wish we had a better tool of selecting all these rings and so forth, but this is what we have right now. It's just a few clicks. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but what's going to happen here is um, I'm going to select everything that's available here in polygon mode and do this. And what you see is, because these are starting to open, the object becomes a bit more relaxed, and you're going to see things happening much better over here if I start opening up these. So edges, right click, seam selection. And let me add a few more seams over here. I'm going where the turns are tight because that's going to show us how opening up these parts of the model are going to allow us. There are other ways. By the way, this is not an extensive, you know, walkthrough of how you should unwrap this. I'm just showing you general principles of this, right? Look at that. These are relaxing now. So it's allowing this whole thing to unfold better. Just like when you're making these little paper balls where you have to go and create those little cuts, undo, and undo. Oh, it can't undo that. I do not know why. Yeah, if you see any of these things, please report them. I do my best. With new features, there's always little gremlins and niggles we have to contend with. So do this. And as you can see, the more we relax these by cutting them up, the more we're allowing for the shape to be a bit more, a bit more relaxed, and have less skewing and so forth. So anyway, you will just go around and do those things and press this, and there you go. Yeah, we can always fix those at a certain time. Now, another thing you could do is go after the fact to the brush and use maybe the relax brush and do some of this. Eh, that's not going to work. Forget about that. What else could we do about this particular thing? Split it in two. That will be another way to contend with this sort of unwrap. Let me see. What could I do here? Because you could amend the model if you think that it's becoming a bit too much. So you can do a KL, so KK, sorry, and you do this, and you do this, and you're actually splitting the polygons there. And I can go with my seam tool and select this and this. And now you can unwrap this. And I think we're going to get some of them exploded, but for other reasons. But now we have two much more straight components here. I'm not really paying attention to what I'm selecting and what I'm doing. That's why you see so many weird things going on. Probably there's some sort of connection here. Some polygon is still, yeah, I didn't do it properly. I cut over here and this is not a seam and all that nice stuff. If I select it and set seam, mark a seam, again, I'm not planning this. I'm just sort of doing stuff. There you go. So now we have these three components. So let's assume, so what you could do now is say, well, I don't want to have all these broken edges here. So forget about that missing bit. Shall we forget about it? Let's go and weld it. Let's see, where is it? There they are. There they are. Let's go here. Let's move this out of the way. Okay. And with a weld, an edge, you can go and weld edges. Not bad. I mean, it does a fairly good job. So what I'm going to do now is just select this whole island and double click, select the whole island, right click. I'm going to clear the seams for this island and then add them again. And it's only going to, oh, no, wrong. Then press that to consolidate whatever needs to be consolidated and reset and unwrap. There we go. So reset and unwrap is going to totally ignore any broken edges. And then right click and mark as seams will give you the outline. So now we have three distinct objects here. We have this with whatever distortion it has. We have this, and then we have this. And again, depending on what you're doing, this may not be required. This is more to make it to have an interesting and good looking unwrap, and without overlapping polygons. Where can this be useful? This can be useful when you're using effects besides textures. If you're using some sort of a deformer that relies on UVs, you can use a surface deformer that relies on UVs, for example, or you want to read the UV coordinate to have something that is surface stable or something like that. Okay. So yeah, oh, it's past midday. Uh, so the idea is you just go part by part and we're in polygon mode and let's show all. And basically that's how you go about it. You have to be strategic. It's not always the easiest thing to do. Use the selection tools to your benefit. One of the things, if you are feeling adventurous, set this to maybe something like 20%. And if I go here and I'm going to reset this, so I'm resetting it. I'm going to clear all seams and reset. There you go. Doesn't matter how it's reset. It is reset. I'm going to go to edge mode. And with my phone break selection, I'm going to select all. All these edges now that have been selected are based on those 20 degrees. Maybe select all, maybe a bit higher, select all. I don't know. Maybe find that the golden number. It's going to give you maybe more than you want because of the rounding. Don't forget, this had rounding, and maybe it's even better just to look at the blue lines. You can see the blue lines over here. And with all these selected, oh, come on, a few more. Give me a few more. Doesn't matter. Right click, mark as seams, and then, oh, that means that there are still watertight models. You do need to make sure that whatever is selected can be unwrapped. So you have to be able to guarantee that for the algorithm to work. So yeah, even if a very small portion is not open, you won't be able to do that. So you just need to be a bit more strategic with something like this. Maybe at the end of the day, maybe one of the little things, a few things you can do, you can go here right down the middle and mark a seam. Then hopefully, nope, there's still watertight parts, mark a seam, and yep, still watertight parts. So you just need to find those watertight parts and yeah, could be these inside ones. and so forth. Let's mark a seam. Nope. Select all. Ah, come on. So what can we do alternatively? Anyway, this is just me just rushing through and not paying attention to what I'm doing. Again, if it's watertight, it cannot unwrap it because it's closed from all sides. So my expectation of doing this is, yeah, it's wrong. What you could do though is go to your automatic, and maybe you can choose a projection and then reverse um, the reverse it. So just go and start welding things together. And this could be an experimental way to go about doing things. So let's do a pact. Let's go and select. For example, let's select this and let's go to this and say, well, I want to weld this. Okay, it's giving me some trouble. I think we hit another little bug. Oh, please. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. This shouldn't happen. Okay. I'm gonna shut it down over here. I'm getting a bit. Yeah. I'm gonna shut it down here and see if there are any questions. First of all. Yep. I need to post some bug reports. Okay. And we go down. Go down. Go down. See, Imran, how are you? I don't think we need select. If you're talking about the seam selection, we can definitely select more than one. So let's go and do a view again, just to make sure that we don't have a misunderstanding here. I'm going to clear all seams, okay? And if you go and you with your edge and you say seam selection, the seam selection is just like the loop selection or the path selection, okay? So first of all, let me remove any selections. Let's go here, seam selection. So if you press shift, it becomes a loop. And then you can stop at selection. So for example, if I want to select, I can select this one and then this one. And then if I press shift, if I have stop at seams, look at that. It only selects this one. Okay. Now, what if I want to delete this? Well, you can control shift click and deselect it. So it has a lot of automations built in. So you don't have to go just by hand. So there are quite a few interesting things you could still do. Anyway, let's see if there's any other. Yeah. Okay. Let me quickly do a housekeeping thing. Use this link. If you want to go to this page, I'm going to paste it down there. And you can go and check all the events that are going on live and online and various tutorials and stuff like that. It's an interesting page. It's a hub for you to go there. Also, though, you can go down here and ask the question. So those questions come to me and I can read through them and prepare some things. Don't forget, you can watch these videos recorded on the Maxon YouTube, Maxon Training Team YouTube channel. And of course, presentations and fantastic videos, tutorials on the Maxon YouTube channel. ZBrush, go learn ZBrush, the best sculpting software in the known universe, actually. I don't want to exaggerate. So. And of course, go to university to learn how all our products work and watch all of my tutorials because it gives me nice little vanity kicks. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for joining me for another Thursday. Please comment down below or share the video with others and tell users about this little show so they can come and visit and ask the questions and so forth. Sorry for the bit of an annoyance at the end, but yeah, it's every tool, even my power tools I use to screw things, occasionally give me a hard time, but that doesn't matter. The more that happens, the more we can fix. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to go and find where the close of the show is. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks for joining me.